right, this is Cisco. What's your real name?
My real name is Vittorio Piazza, but that's a little long, so they call me Cisco.
And why do we call you Cisco?
Because I'm from San Francisco, California.
And where is that?
In California.
And you grew up in the country, but you moved to San Francisco, and then you moved back to the country now?
Not quite. I've been raised a city kid my whole life, but I kind of like the Western lifestyle. So I decided to intern at a ranch this summer and was lucky enough to get the job here.
Okay, and where are you going to school right now?
I'm going to TCU. I'm in the pre-law track, and in the future, I'm thinking about doing the ranch management program.
Okay. What did you learn while you were out here that you didn't already know?
So much. Honestly, it's kind of hard to make a list, but I mean, the main thing that Jared says all the time is it's easier for a country kid to go and live in the city than a city kid to go and live in the country. So I've been learning an insane amount, and that little motto is true because I was not necessarily like prepared to come out here, but luckily I had good teachers and I learned fairly quick, I'd say. So yeah.
How many times had you ridden a horse since you've been here?
0 times.
Before you got here?
Yeah, 0 times. Never ridden a horse. I mean, besides someone like, I sit on the horse and then they kind of like pull it around, but that's when I was really young, so.
And you rode a little bit here?
I did, yeah, a little bit.
And how many times have you ever been around cattle?
Live cattle, probably once when I was really little at my cousin's ranch, but otherwise I'd never worked them or worked with them or done anything like what I did out here on the ranch.
So, being here a couple of months during the summer, what's the biggest take that you're going to take from here?
Like personally or just overall?
Anything.
Well, being someone who's like not really ever lived out in the country or understood like the agricultural lifestyle, it's amazing to see the work and the effort that are put into these cattle. It's also just kind of crazy to think that like I had no idea what a cattle ranch, like how it was operated. You just think that guys on horses are kind of doing cowboy stuff, and like that's all a city kid really understands coming out here. But then actually working with them and understanding like how much effort and love are put into these cattle to make sure that they're healthy and they're content, and they're prepared well to be distributed and then turn into the stuff that sustains America. It's pretty incredible, and I think that everyone should get an experience like this just to understand what it's like where your food comes from. And a lot of people, especially in places like California, think that these ranchers are out here just being terrible to these cows and they're just raised up to be slaughtered. And while I guess it'll become meat eventually, like you don't understand the amount of love and effort put into these cattle until you actually work with these ranchers. And it's really an incredible experience, even for someone who doesn't think about going into ag, like for their future, just to understand what it's like and to really like appreciate more, the steak that you might get at that restaurant or that hamburger that you might, just be eating, when you're barbecuing outside. So.
Good. And you got to experience a wildfire.
I did.
An evacuation.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the problems before and after, and you got to experience some decently warm weather.
Fairly,
Yeah, I think since you've been here, I think it's been less than 100 degrees, maybe 3 or 4 days in the 60 days you've been here.
Yes, yeah.
And it's been up to 111 was the highest.
Yeah.
And it may have been
112, I remember.
maybe 112, So, did you enjoy working out in the heat?
I mean, I don't think anyone like enjoys working out where it's so hot, but I really enjoy the work because it's so satisfying that like you're number one, working with like the animals is really cool because you get to kind of build a relationship with them, and you're also helping them, and that, I mean, it's really kind of a satisfying job. But I mean, that doesn't mean that you're not sweating a lot and it's hot and you get dehydrated and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed my time out here, even though it was really hot.
What'd you learn from the horses?
confidence is a huge thing with the horses. You know, they want a leader, someone who is comfortable around them, but also like able to lead them. And coming from a kid who was born in the city who's never been around horses, at first I was a little bit hesitant, and still kind of am. You know, I'm not 100% confident around these animals that can kill me if they wanted to. You know, but what's also cool is just knowing how like once you kind of build that rapport with them, they'll respect you as long as you're respectful to them, and it's just really interesting. Like it's a deeper relationship with a horse than it is with like some dogs or like cats or whatever, because the horses are really, really smart, and they also can like read your emotions, and that's why it's really important to be confident around them.
What'd you learn from your coworkers?
I learned that hard work pays off, and that it's.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar, doesn't it? Honestly, I've learned that this kind of job is deeply satisfying, but it's also constant. Like there's no like real vacation days. Like every day these horses need to be fed. Every day these cattle need to be taken care of. And that was one thing that I really learned and found like respect in with this lifestyle, because I mean, when you go to a grocery store, you just see the beef on the aisle, right? You don't understand all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into raising these cows. And I mean, just...
And kind of the same with the horses. When you see a horse riding around, you just kind of think, oh, well, that's a really nice horse.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of time and effort that goes into getting that horse like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, do you have anything to say to people who may want to come out here and intern?
Absolutely, it's an amazing experience. You are going to have some of the best teachers and workers in the industry out here showing you how it's done, and making sure that you're taken care of, and making sure that you're comfortable, and making sure that you learn a ton. I was out here for 2 months. Granted, I wasn't raised in the country, but I mean, I think that even a country kid can come out here and learn an overwhelming amount, but in a very manageable and comfortable environment. And yeah, this is an amazing place because it's kind of it's really good at cattle, and it's also really good at professional horses and cutting horses. And so getting both of those perspectives is kind of rare at a ranch. And I think it's an incredible experience and a really valuable one to be able to come here and learn both at the same time. So yeah, anyone who's considering different ranches, I highly recommend. It's an amazing place. You're going to be well taken care of, and you're going to learn a ton. So.
Cool. Well, I got a saying that I always tell all the interns when they leave, and it's kind of funny, but it's really good wisdom. Never approach a bull from the front, a horse from the back, or a fool from any direction. So
that's a good little proverb.
Think about that.
I will.
That's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we sure appreciate you being here, and have enjoyed having you, and hope we get to have you back to work some cattle or something later on. Maybe another internship next summer or the following summer, or maybe during the Christmas break or something. So.
Absolutely, I'd love to come.
And I guess where are you headed in the morning?
Back to California. So yeah, we'll try to bring some of the Texas spirit over there.
All right. Well, safe travels, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.